Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for October 8th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 26 live feeds. It was day 84 in the house, and it's a sleepy day on the feeds. And with me to talk about the sleep, it's AJ. How you doing, AJ?
Taran, I like to shout out to everyone that is currently here, everyone that's still watching the feeds, because we are past the point of the feeds being dead. Like the casket is closed, there is dirt in the ground already, the body is decaying. Like there was nothing, there was so little, but we're still here.
Yeah, there's so little to do that they've started like their sleep schedule's just so messed up. Like they're sleeping all day. Like when I say it's a sleepy day, it's quite literally they were sleeping most of the day, and then they were up a good portion of the night,
No,
just
like I
playing
would
solitaire.
I would expect, like, I turned on the feeds at random times yesterday, being like, okay, there's some conversations or like they're cooking something. No, it's on them sleeping. They were taking a nap, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's what we're going to talk about at like 4 in the afternoon.
Yep. Basically, the update the last few days has been what was the one conversation about the vote today?
Mhm.
And today's update is they didn't really have a conversation about the vote at all.
No, they literally just hung out in Chelsea's like HOH room basically all night, like with cards or backgammon or whatever, like
Mhm.
doing nothing.
Still trying to figure out the rules to backgammon, trying to figure out the schedule for the rest of the season, doing magic tricks. Does popcorn come from the ground? You know?
Which I think is a valid question. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
why
the
not?
most valid question asked yesterday.
I mean, did you know where popcorn came from?
No, I don't, like I don't know how to farm. Like I don't know how to farm. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if it didn't come from the ground, like what would you qualify as not like if it came from a tree, would you say that's not the ground?
Like I would consider like a tree not a ground. Like
Yeah.
basically,
Because
I
the
think
tree comes from the ground.
the tree comes to the ground, but the fruits that produce the pine cones and stuff, they come from the branches, and the branches are in
Okay.
the air. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
Um, well, we did get just a little taste, little tiny taste of game, which is that we've talked about basically Rubina versus Cam. MJ has the decision as the veto holder. Which of the two will be evicted? Cam had a conversation with her, with MJ, and implied that he was willing to cut Chelsie. Um, Rubina has not had a conversation with her yet. MJ has been offended that she hasn't had a conversation with her yet. Rubina did say to MJ last night, "I want to have a conversation with you tomorrow."
And like, why Rubina? Why shall we procrastinate and wait? Like, I respect Rubina this season because she is the person who's been up T-Core's and Chemo's ass, being like, y'all, why are we waiting? Why are we procrastinating? Let's go do this now. And now Rubina's just also in that pattern, especially when her life is on the line right now. Like who knows what good work Cam has been doing with MJ? Like Rubina, you're still in this. You're still with a shot of 750K. Like you literally ain't doing nothing. They are taking naps. You are practicing your cartwheels, magic tricks, and stuff like that. Like we can take a 5-minute break to just talk a little bit of game. Like we're in a game for 750K. Just that.
Yep. Listen, I for some reason decided to montage all of my bullet points for what they did yesterday, so I'm already out.
No, like honestly, I would have been surprised if we reached the 10-minute point of this podcast today. Like you would have been pulling at some tough strings.
You know what I did yesterday, AJ?
Hit me.
I had a wonderful conversation with the creators of Jetlag, Adam, Ben, and
Ooh.
Sam, and we talked through season 11 of Jetlag, the game,
Mhm.
tag 3. It was very fun. Adam went on multiple rants, accidentally spoiled season 12, so we had to censor it. And it was a good time. Everyone should check it out.
I think so. Like, this is some good content, some quality content, y'all. If y'all ain't listening to your feeds, because I know it's hit it if you're subscribed, like, it's some good stuff.
Some good stuff.
Yes.
Um,
Like, better than what you will be getting on the feeds yesterday.
certainly. I mean, you could also check out the Tastemakers podcast. That's over at We Know Scripted TV. So here's how this works. Let me just give you a history lesson because I got to give you an update on something. Here at RHAP, Rob started covering Survivor.
Yes.
And a few other shows. And then eventually, I came. We did the Big Brother live feed update thing. But we also for a while had post-show recaps, which was helmed by Josh Wigler. We talked about scripted TV as well as reality TV. That recently ended, and a little spin-off segment of RHAP, We Know Scripted TV, part of a little bit of a rebrand. We know reality TV. We also know scripted TV. Those are the feeds. And so on We Know Scripted TV, there's a few different shows. One where Sasha and Mike talk to reality stars about TV. Josh and Antonio talk on the weekend program. Myself and Grace Leader, we have a show that I conceived of called The Tastemakers, which is basically just like we'll just watch a bunch of TV and movies that week that just came out and let you know what's worth checking out and like what the latest news is and all that good stuff. It's just kind of like if you're gonna watch or listen to one podcast about scripted TV, it's like that's kind of the one, as long as you like me or Grace. And this month we're doing an October horror thing on top of all the regular news. It's fun.
Like, and listen, I'd say do it. Like, Taran is a top tier podcaster. Grace is one of the funniest people to grace the earth. Like, so I think y'all are doing yourselves an active disservice. Even if you don't like Taran, suck it up.
You can at least like Grace, you know?
Yeah. Like, come on.
Here's the thing. Here's what I've heard about the Tastemakers. I've heard the Tastemakers is the most underrated podcast on the RHAP network.
And listen,
which is a great way of saying it's a great podcast that not enough people listen to. Which I get. Honestly, I'm like, I looked for it and I was like, oh, it's actually a little hard to find. We're trying to work on that. It's on the We Know Scripted feed. There's a YouTube channel specifically for We Know Scripted TV. There's a podcast feed, We Know Scripted TV. The Tastemakers is in that feed as one of the shows. But I think it's pretty fun.
I think so. Especially because let me tell you something. Big Brother season is about dead. This time next week, there's nothing else to talk about. But you still have a life and you still enjoy some stuff. Like, I think people should always be hearing your opinions, like not just during the summer.
I appreciate, a lot of people say I miss the updates after it ends. It becomes part of their routine, but there's still some things you can check out that I do. The jet lag stuff, the circle coverage just recently. Also, Chappelle and I will be covering the summit, so that's fun.
Ooh, and trust, like, y'all listening to a Big Brother podcast. You saw their reaction to the summit. Like, this is some good stuff that you're watching with Taran and Chappelle. Like, the dynamic duo we all needed.
It's the first podcast we've done together, like as a duo.
That's insane. Y'all get to be there at the start, baby.
And listen, you can find me on Twitch too. I'm watching episodes all the time. I'm watching Survivor. I'm just hanging out. I'm playing games. It's a good time over there.
No, a lot of fun stuff happening on Twitch. Taran's killing it over there. Also, other people like Puya's killing it on Twitch. Kirsten's killing it on Twitch. A lot of your faves from the Big Brother podcast, they are on Twitch. Go and find them.
AJ, when are you getting on Twitch?
That's funny.
Come on.
As soon as people overwhelmingly be like, AJ, we need your Twitch, I would join Twitch. But
you heard him. You heard him.
Yeah, I'm just living my best life over here now.
AJ, do you have any updates to give us?
Any updates? Sure. you know, Scally was on the podcast yesterday, so
That's
you
true.
know, and he's also has a podcast, the Free Agents podcast, talking about the challenge. Him
Mm.
and Matt, they invited me on. It was such a good time. We didn't discuss the episode basically at all. We were just like my frustrations with the challenge as a whole.
That's fair. I have frustrations as well.
Yeah, but we still have some good times, some hee some ha-has over there. Like always fun. Go check that out. Uh Also, Felipe at the Brazilian Dragon podcast, he invited me over. That podcast should be dropping soon. We talked some Halloween and Disney, like that part of the spooky season. It's that time of year. Ooh, speaking of that time of year, a little more serious. Uh, Hurricane Helene, that damage impacted the South a lot, Florida,
Mm.
Georgia, North Carolina. If you're near the area, please, if you have the time and capabilities, sign up for some volunteering. If you can't volunteer but able to donate, please feel free to donate. A lot of state funds, non-state actors like American Cross, AmeriCares. You have the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund, the Florida Disaster Fund. For Georgia, I think you have the Safe Relief Fund. So, like, donate to those things. I know there's another hurricane about to hit Florida in a couple of days. God bless them. Stay safe. Um, also, it's also that season for my Americans. Make sure you're registered to vote. I know yesterday it closed on registration in Georgia, so make sure you are registered. If you're not, get registered if you still can. But don't forget, registering is only half the battle. You also need to have a voting plan, like whether you're going to vote in person, by mail, early vote, date of vote. Make sure you know how you're going to vote. If you're going to vote in person, how you're going to get there. If you live like me, I used to live in Georgia, and the state I live in, I had to wait like 2 or 3 hours in line. So cut you out like a little piece of time of your day, so that way you're not distracted or be like, oh, I can't vote because I got other stuff to do. And even if you don't live in one of those areas, still keep up like 15, 30 minutes of your time. So that way, in case something goes wrong and they have to hold up the line for a little longer, you're still good. You're like, you know what? Take your time. Don't take your time. Hurry up. But like, I got time. I can vote. My voice will be heard because listen, a lot of people are going to let their voices be heard. Let yours be one of them.
Yeah, it's not like Big Brother where you got like TV producers watching you 24/7 and making sure that you vote.
No, truly,
You
this
gotta
this
you
is
gotta
funny.
you gotta make sure you like this is like you're Monty and you're trying to make it to the veto competition.
And listen, sometimes you be running and trying to get in line before poll closes, and baby, you got to speed it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, I apologize that there wasn't too much else to talk about here today. Hopefully we'll have a bit more tomorrow
You know what?
when
Pause. Blame Chelsie and Rubina and Cam and Mackenzie. They chose to make the day boring.
they really did. Well, Rubina promised a conversation tomorrow, which of course is today, which means that tomorrow I'll have an update for you, 11 a.m. Eastern, to let you know how that conversation goes and if it saves Rubina. There genuinely, there's a good chance it does. I mean, like I've been saying, Rubina should have the advantage here. She can promise a lot more than Cam is at the moment. So stay tuned for that. And of course, tonight, roundtable. And while there's not a ton to talk about from this week in particular, this is the final roundtable of the season. It'll be the final set of ratings before the season ends. We will also have a poll for America's favorite player. We'll have jury vote predictions and all kinds of stuff like that. The final rating of the season before it ends. So stay tuned for the roundtable tonight. And I think that's about it, about what we've got for you. So thank you all so much for joining us here today. And I will see all of you next time.